guys, it's so good to be back here again. Thank you so much for always tuning in. I appreciate your time here so far. And of course, we're here to give you trending, exciting, reliable, and authentic happenings in Nigeria, in politics especially, and beyond. And of course, it is a lot is happening in the camp of the APC, and not just the APC, but right now it is happening in the camp of Tinubu, because this time around, all the strongmen that Tinubu has, that he has planted, they are beginning to be uprooted one after the other. And guess what? It seems he's about to lose another of his roots in the Buhari's administration. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, because I want to bring you, we're going a little bit down into memory lane for how many of his men he has planted in, Aso Villa, and how many of them are still standing, and how many is still, very active in the government. But all this I will bring to you shortly. But before then, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and also ensure you turn on the notification bell and give this video a thumbs up, because your thumbs up will mean you saw this video and you like. Okay guys, let us get right into the details, because Tinubu cannot wait to have more of his men in this administration, but it seems he's losing his grip already. Okay, it says after helping President Muhammad Buhari to defeat former President Goodluck Jonathan during the 2015 presidential election, and upon the official assumption of power in May 2015, Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, a former governor of Lagos State and chieftain of the All Progressive Congress (APC), was given the privilege of nominating some loyalists into influential position of the President Buhari's administration. Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, who had and still has Hajia Aisha Buhari, the wife of the president, who he personally dragged into the politics in 2014 and nominated a native of Adamawa State, the home state of Aisha, Chief Lawal David Babachir, a secretary to government of the Federation SGF, and Mr. Ibrahim Magu from Borno State as acting chairman of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). While Tinubu and Aisha initially thought that they would have things run smoothly in their favor in the Buhari administration, a shocker hit them in shortly afterwards. In October 2016, Aisha Buhari, who was frustrated that her husband, President Buhari, was appointing members of the political caucus of his age-long friends, Malam Maman Daura and Malam Isa Funtua, into influential offices and not deferring to her or loyalists of Tinubu that worked for his ascension to office in 2015. Granted a BBC interview to criticize her husband's administration. And of course, if you can remember how she came out to say some of the people that the husband has actually put in positions are people he does not really know much about, that it is not good for their government. She did that in a BBC interview, and there was a lot of criticism that surrounded that at that particular time. And she alleged that her husband was debating by bringing those unknown to her into government. In response to her criticism, President Buhari described her statement as non-issue, divorcing Aisha from his government and confined her to his private bedroom and kitchen. He further froze her and Asiwaju Tinubu out of the government. If you remember, then President Buhari also said that his wife belongs to the second room and his kitchen. I believe you all remember that, because it was a slogan in Nigeria back then. And it continues, it says on December 15, 2016, the Nigerian Senate, acting on a secretary report by the Department of State Secretary DSS under the headship of Mr. Lawal Daura, declined the confirmation of Mr. Magu as substantive chairman of EFCC, although the DSS report cited graft infractions against the acting EFCC chairman. Members of Tinubu and Aisha Buhari camp saw the handwork of President Buhari trusted allies to take out Magu and replace him with some that will be loyal to the president's men. In March 2017, the Senate again rejected the nomination of Magu as substantive EFCC boss based on DSS security report after Buhari had renominated him. A major jeopardy hit the Tinubu camp in April 2017 following the decision of President Buhari to suspend Lawal Babachir as SGF over indictment of misappropriation of funds meant for Boko Haram victims. Although this replacement, Mr. Boss Mustafa, hails from same Adamawa State, Mr. Boss' nomination was through the Senator Jubrila Bindel, who was the state governor of Adamawa State between 2015 and 2019. With the former SGF out of the way, Ibrahim Magu of EFCC was the only eye of Asiwaju Tinubu and Aisha Buhari. In June 2020, Mr. Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, who is considered to be a strong foot soldier of President Buhari's men, wrote a damning memo to the president which indicted Magu for fraudulent practices and diversion of recovered loot. Magu was accused of living beyond his means, money laundering, and other heinous crimes. Malami concluded that the memo, by recommending Magu's dismissal and prosecution, Malami went further to recommend a new EFCC boss as sustainable replacement for Magu. On Monday, Magu, a commissioner of police, was accosted on his way to police force headquarters by a combined team of police and DSS operatives and weeks to face presidential panel at the presidential villa to answer allegations against him by Mr. Malami. He was later moved to Force Criminal Investigation Department (FCID) to face a probe panel chaired by a former president of Court of Appeal, Justice Ayo Salami. Although the DSS and EFCC claim that Magu was invited and not arrested, a statement by a Presidential Advisory Committee on Anti-Corruption (PCAC), an advisory body chaired by Professor Itsa Sagai, a senior advocate of Nigeria and loyalist of Asiwaju Tinubu, vilified DSS, Mr. Malami and President Buhari's men and accused them of harassing Mr. Magu in order to frustrate him out of office because of their political interest. The PCAC, which described Magu's travails as political witch hunt, further appealed to President Buhari and Justice Ayo Salami to dismiss the allegation by Mr. Malami against the embattled Mr. Magu. The PCAC is aware that Magu out of the way, the next EFCC boss will further undermine the interest of Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, considering the manner in which Mr. Magu was moved by security operatives. It appears that President Buhari has already acceded to the advice of Mr. Malami to drop him as EFCC boss. Should this happen, it means Tinubu's last card around the political circle is gone. This is because the former Lagos State governor has lost several loyalists in the government, including Mr. Babatunde Fowler, who was kicked out from his position as chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) by President Buhari. Fowler was replaced with Mr. Mohammed Maman Nami, a loyalist of Buhari's men. Unfortunately, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, the vice president, and Hajiya Aisha Buhari, the wife of the president, who are supposed to be Asiwaju Tinubu insurance cover in the administration, have been completely frozen out of relevance by those at the corridors of power. This is really hot. I advise everyone to really take this very seriously, because if you look into this critically, you would really understand that indeed this is exactly what is happening to Tinubu and Buhari's administration. And of course, we all know that Aisha Buhari and Vice President Shimbajo are actually frozen because we can hardly see them on the face of this administration. They are always behind the scene. It is only when people are crying and craving that where is Shibanjo, you hear once in a while he comes out to do one or two stuffs, but really that shouldn't be the position of the vice president of a country like Nigeria. So guys, you can see that Tinubu is beginning to lose his grip, his hold on APC and President Buhari, because Magu was his last man standing to hold, to put things together for him in this administration. But Magu is in a mess that even Tinubu cannot take him out. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you have questions, if you have reservations, if you have comments, endeavor to drop them in the comment section. We'll be waiting to hear from you. Thank you so much for always being here. I really do appreciate you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Do have a pleasant day. Bye for now.